Hello folks, so today I'm going to show you how I actually focus my RASA without a focus motor. And you guys know I like to be automated, so why don't I have the Celestron focus motor attached yet? And the reason is I'm still waiting for the RASA to lose focus. The weather right now stinks. I really I can't take the RASA out as much as I want. I've only had 2 nights to take it out, and both nights were hazy. But on both of those nights, I still haven't lost focus. I just want to see how long this can go. I set focus at the beginning of the evening, and it lasts all night. And so my mantra is, or mantra, however you say that, is I don't mess with something that works. If I only have to set focus once at the beginning of the night, I'm not sure when I'm going to install the focus motor. I know Celestron gave me that focuser, but I'm still waiting. I think I'm going to wait until I finally get burned. At 3 a.m., I finally lost focus. Okay, it's time to take action. Then I'm going to install the focus motor. So we'll see how that goes. Check this out. The new issue of Astronomy magazine arrived. And so the first thing I do when this magazine arrives, let me show you, is I go to the reader gallery to see if I'm in the magazine. And I'm not. That's the only reason I get this magazine, is to see if I'm in it. Not this time. But anyway, I'm going to show you how I manually focus the RASA. And one thing to let you know is I don't use a Bahtinov mask. To me, it's not for me, putting a mask in front of the telescope, going to a bright star, looking at spikes. That seems old school to me. It's just not for me. I like to base my focus strictly on HFR. And the lower the HFR number you get, the more tight your stars are. It's actually, for me, it's easier than dealing with the Bahtinov mask. And in the past, when I was first starting out, I've even left the Bahtinov mask on the telescope on accident. I think a lot of us have made that mistake before, but a lot of people still like the Bahtinov mask, but it's not for me. It's not what I do. So let me show you some things here. Okay, I am in PixInsight right now, and I want to show you an example of stars that are out of focus. And I've got a picture up here, and it's just a small crop of a picture. And I want to show you that a lot of people that I know of never actually look, and I know this, they tell me, they never actually look at their pictures at 100% mode. They're always looking at maybe 1/3 of it or 1/5 of it because they want to be able to see the whole thing, so they never actually take the time to zoom in on it. And if you're looking at the whole thing, sometimes you really can't see if your stars are out of focus. So let's go and take a look at this one at 100%. Now this is just a crop. And even at 100%, I think a lot of people who might be new in this hobby still might think that these stars are pinpoint. It's not, sometimes it's just not obvious. But if you zoom in 200%, or 300%, you start to see that the stars have almost a hollow look to them. They're not completely out of focus where you're starting to see that donut, but once you get a little experience in this hobby, you start to know what tight stars look like. And these stars are definitely not tight. And to show you an example of stars that are tight, let me show you this one. Let me go to 200% here. And look at the stars. This is the same portion of the sky. You look at the stars here at 200% right here. And look at the stars here, the same stars in the left here. You can see the stars on the left are really tight. And so if you're new and you're worried that maybe you don't have the eye to really know if your stars are tight, that's why I'm saying I like to use the HFR and making that number as low as possible, because look at the HFR value on the picture on the right, 172, whereas the picture on the left has an HFR of 140. So the lower you get that that number, the tighter your stars are going to be. So, and let me show you now in SGP how I do that. Okay, so I am in Sequence Generator Pro and I am connected to my laptop remotely, and my laptop is sitting right next to me, and the laptop is connected to my setup outside. It's daytime right now, by the way, but it's connected to my setup outside with a 20-meter line. And what I'm going to do is to do my focus is I'll pull up the frame and focus. I'll just hit this button here. It says frame and focus. And I would set this to either 5 seconds or 10 seconds. But the problem is, well, let me show you what happens if I do 5 seconds. I'm pointing at clouds right now, so it's going to be all white. So that's not going to be a good example for this. You see that? And the problem is the HFR value that's displayed in the upper left is all white also. So this is not a very good test. It's made for a dark sky. So let's stop this. I'm just going to make it 0 for now. But normally I would make it 5 or 10 seconds while I'm doing my frame and focus. So let's just hit start. Okay, now it's a black screen. And so here's my HFR, and for the purpose of this test, we'll pretend that's the HFR of my stars. It's really pointing at nothing right now, so that's a bogus number. I'm not sure how it calculates 3.7 when it's looking at clouds, or 3.44, but it doesn't matter. That's the number I use and to run focus. So when I'm outside, now my laptop is inside. I'll show you how I do this. When I'm outside, I'm going to turn the focus knob on the RASA and watch this HFR go down, lower, and lower. And at some point, it's going to go so low that if you turn it anymore, of course, it's going to start going higher, which means you're losing focus again. So once you hit that low number, that's it. You are in focus. And you could always hit medium if you want to see what the image looks like, which is not going to do much good. There's no stars to look at right now. So that's what I would be doing outside. I'm just going to keep turning the knob until I get that low HFR. And that's how I do it manually until I finally install the Celestron focus motor. So, and by the way, one more thing is, of course, the HFR is going to vary depending on what portion of the sky you're looking at. So the same HFR does not apply from one object to the next, because especially if you're pointing at the Orion Nebula, the stars are huge around that nebula. So the HFR, the low HFR will definitely be higher than if you're looking at a different nebula. So you can't base it on different objects. So you just got to keep finding what's the lowest HFR for that target. So let me show you what I would do now with my laptop indoors. Okay, hey, I am back. So what I would do right now with my laptop indoors, if I want to focus outside, I'm going to use my iPad. And Microsoft has a remote desktop client that will let me connect into my laptop. So it's really easy to use. You just put in your ID and password for the laptop. And it just kicked me out of my connection here. But now with this, I can see the HFR. So I'm going to carry what I would do is I would carry my iPad outside, and while I'm holding it, I would just adjust the focus knob on the RASA and watch this number go down as I do it. And that's that. It's actually pretty simple, and that's why I'm not going to install the Celestron focus motor yet. I know Celestron sent me that thing. Sorry, Celestron, but I gotta admit, right now your RASA holds focus great, and I'm not going to mess with it. I'm gonna hold off on that focus motor until, like I said, I finally get burned in the middle of the night where I finally lost focus. Okay, now it's time to get more automated. So we'll see how long this goes. Well, I hope you found this useful for manual focus. Anyway, that's what I do, and I'll see you later. I hope the weather improves. Bye. Hello, astrophotographers. Hello, astrophotographers. Yeah. Hello, astrophotographers. Yeah. Hello. Hello, astrophotographers.